Well, thank you guys so much visiting with the Bangor family. I'm visiting with Emma and Liz and Justin Groll, and we have been talking in length about just everyday things today. Does that feel good to talk about everyday things?
Of course.
But then sometimes there's everyday things that are scary things. And I was just asking you about how Emma's doing. And Emma's doing well, but she had a little bit of a hiccup coming up here the last couple of weeks. What happened?
It was actually this past summer. She has been doing very well, but she started soccer, which was very scary for this mom.
Yes.
The doctor said she could do soccer for a few years until it started getting competitive, which right now she's only in third grade, so it's not too competitive. Um, but we noticed that when she got out in the field, she could only run for maybe like a couple of minutes, and then her lips would turn a little bit bluish, which to the normal mom that would scare anybody, but to us, a little blue really isn't all that alarming. But after a couple minutes, it is more alarming than the norm, and we just watched it, and we noticed that even off the field, she was getting more lethargic. She was not acting like herself. She was, what else was she doing?
I don't know. She'd just have a hard time catching her breath when she would be messing around with her sisters outside, or playing soccer was the biggest thing when we noticed it. And we knew it wasn't something normal for her to be having a gasp for air.
So we called up to her, up to Milwaukee, which is her her cardiologist up there, and they were just concerned that things might be progressing for a heart transplant because that's the next step. And so we went up there, and they did a heart cath. Not I'm sorry, not a heart cath. They did an MRI, sedated MRI, which is what they do is they sedate her. They inject some dye into her heart, and they do a MRI, and they hold her breath for her, and anyways, to make a long story short, they checked her out. They noticed that things were okay for now, but they put her on some new medication, which is a beta blocker and a some water pills, and so far so good. It's working, and she's doing okay. So it worked for now.
You've been riding the roller coaster. Now, this all started way in the beginning, didn't it?
It did, yes. It started when she was 24 hours old. We did not know that she had anything wrong with her. She was just our brand new baby that we were holding in the whatever the hospital here. After I just had her, and the doctor came in to do their normal checkup. And it was Dr. Clevin here at Gunderson, and she just stood there a little longer than normal, and stood there and listened to her, and she goes, I think I'm going to take her to the nursery for a little longer, or just kind of take a look at her, and took her out, and Justin followed, and you can tell the rest.
What did you think of at that point?
Well, that's why I went along, because I wasn't
You just didn't know.
sure. Yeah, we didn't know. So anyways, when we got her down into the nursery area, they hooked up the pulse oximeter to her foot. And a normal person's, that's the machine that measures your oxygen intake into your body. And hers was at 80, and then it went down to 75, 70. And that's when the nurse that was in there said, "You need to go back to the room with your wife." And I said, "I'm not leaving my baby." And she's like, "Nope, you need to go now." So I was obviously freaked out. So yeah, and then she was gone for like 4 hours from us, and they did an echo on her heart, and that's when Dr. Clevins came back in, and Dr. McCullen Tolbert came back in, and one of her assistants, and we could tell that they had all been crying.
We're very upset.
Yes,
For sure.
and that's kind of when we knew.
So when you
something
see
was
the
going on.
medical staff is so upset, what did that do to you?
Well, when you're a brand new mom, like I wasn't. I mean, I had 3 other children at home, but when you're a mom that just had a baby and they take her away and you have no clue what's going on, and they come back to your room without your baby, and you can tell that they are distraught. You You wonder what the heck's going on, and you want answers, and then they come back at you and they say your daughter has hypoplastic left heart syndrome, and you're like, whoa, can you please speak English? Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden she says she needs 3 open heart surgeries or a heart transplant, or and my mind at that point was a whirlwind. And honestly, like, now it's 8 years later, and I talk to young moms that have babies like Emma, and I tell them all the time, now you need to stop. You need to research what this is. You need to just not get so frazzled, because it is there's so many different things that go along with having a baby like this that it's scary. And I just remember being very, very scared and not understanding I didn't know if I was going to lose my baby. I didn't know how long I was going to have her. And I know that Justin, one of the big hurdles that we were excited to get over was when the Flight for Life people came to pick up Emma and flew her to Milwaukee. He looked at Justin and he said, you look at her now, but she's a fighter or something. What did he say to you?
Yeah, he could tell that, because obviously I was pretty distraught.
Well, of course you were.
Because I flew with her. And he looked at me and said, she's going to be fine. And I said, how do you know? And he's like, because I can just tell. He's like, before you know it, she'll be out of the hospital, back home, playing with her other sisters, riding a bike, going to kindergarten, going to elementary school. And lo and behold, she's...
This summer,
Yeah.
she rode her bike for the
rode her
first
bike
time.
without training wheels in third
Emma,
grade.
did you ride your bike?
Yeah.
Did you? What color is your bike?
Pink.
It's pink. I see you're wearing pink today. Is that your favorite color? Sometimes?
Kind of.
I hear you go to school in Bangor. Is that right?
Yeah.
And what is your favorite subject that you study in school?
Math.
Math. A mathematician. Wow, that's pretty impressive. What's your favorite teacher's name?
Mrs. Regan.
Oh, and does she teach you mathematics? Is she your math teacher?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any favorite friends that you'd like to say hi to in school? Would you like to say hi to one of your friends? You think about that for a minute, okay? You give that some thought, and then we'll come back to that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to ask for 4 phone calls for each one of your favorite friends. So you come up with 4 names, okay? All right, that's going to be our goal. So we're going to ask people to call 781-1477. We're going to ask for 4 phone calls to come in. Now, Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, how did we hear about that?
Well, actually, when we were about to get Emma flown over to Milwaukee, somebody, and at the time we didn't know it was Children's Miracle Network, came into our room and said, do you guys have enough money to drive over to Milwaukee? And at the time I'm like, yes, we're fine. I didn't want to be a bother to anybody.
Right.
And but then when we were over in Milwaukee, somebody must have, and at the time I had no clue, filled out an application or something for us, and we got a $500 check, which, let me tell you, and I'm telling, if anybody is thinking right now to support Children's Miracle Network, I am a mom that wants to say that I needed my husband with me when my daughter was only 10 days old when she had her first open heart surgery, and I couldn't have done it without him there, because when you're sitting there in a hospital room with your daughter's chest wide open, with nobody there, you need your spouse. And I couldn't have done it without Children's Miracle Network sending that money, because he could take those weeks off. And they sent 2 different, checks. They offered food vouchers. They offered gas. They offered my other girls to be able to travel from Fond du Lac. They were staying with Justin's parents in Fond du Lac to. They gave his parents gas money or gas vouchers to travel back and forth to see their little sister for the first time. You know what I mean? Like, it's so amazing how people give up their finances or their money, their time for people like us. I don't know how to explain that. Like it's
Well, I think you did a very good job of explaining it. And the thing is, with every family, it seems like everybody has a little different situation. Like today, we had a family came in and told us that they wouldn't have been able to pay their power bill
Oh,
that
wow.
month. And then there was other people that came in and said our bathtub would not accommodate, and they came in and they remodeled a bathroom. You just have no idea until you're in the middle of a situation like you guys were at that
Right.
time, and how the help comes and in what form it comes.
Well, you don't plan on it. I mean, you plan on your husband being home for a couple days, or you plan on, like the normal. You have a baby, you go home, your husband goes off to work the next couple of days, but you do not plan. I mean, we were in Milwaukee for 3.5 months the first time, and then the second time we were another month, and then you know what I mean. Like there was so many different times, and for her last surgery, Children's Miracle Network, what they do is, and this is another thing you guys can do, and I'm calling out for the not viewers or whoever the listeners, is if you have, and I'm not quite sure what hotels, but you can donate your points for your hotels or something too, right? Isn't that how it is? I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure how that is, but we somehow with I'm not saying it right, but
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
how was that, Justin?
What they did for us is there's people that donate like their points for hotel stays and certain things like that. And on Emma's third surgery, which was scheduled a month after she turned 4, I believe it was, they put us up at, I forgot the name of the place, but it's down by Brookfield.
Beautiful.
And with these points that people had donated so that we could spend a weekend all together as a family before Emma went in for her 11-hour open heart surgery.
And what value that has for your family that you can spend that time together.
Oh yeah, because our older girls, they even still talk about it when we go past
Do
it.
they?
Hey, that's where we stayed because CMN donated that stuff for us. So, and it was a very weekend that I think we needed because obviously our older 2 girls, were struggling with mom and dad being gone and with their sister going through surgeries, and they even look through pictures yet of being in the swimming pool there, and so
It affects everybody under the roof.
yes.
It affects everybody in the household. So what we need to do is get these phone ring, and I think we should just do that. It's 781-1477, 1-800-853-6889, and we're going to ask you to put our Dairy Queen folks to work. Hello, Dairy Queen folks. Let's hear a little something. Okay. Isn't that fun? Emma, do you want to ring one of those cowbells? We can set you up. Heidi will run right over here with a cowbell. We'll set you up so you can do a little ringing over here.
She's got 4 friends.
And you have your 4 friends in mind. Can you tell us your 4 friends?
Maddie,
Maddie is one. Okay.
Jordan,
Jordan.
Kennedy,
Kennedy.
and Aaron.
And Aaron. Okay, very good, Emma. Those are your 4 friends, your 4 special friends. So let's get the phone to ring for every special friend that you just mentioned. How would that be? Should we work very hard on that? I think we will. It's 781-1477. You're listening to the Children's Miracle Network Hospital Radiothon. We're here at Gunderson Health System in their lobby. It's just amazing. You can come by and see us. You have to come see it to believe it, because trying to explain it is something else, isn't it? This place is so vibrant and so full of good wishes. What else did you have to say?
I was just telling Emma she needs to tell people to call.
Tell them to call Emma.
Please call.
Oh, sweetheart. That says it all, doesn't it? Well, things are okay right now.
Yes, we're good. Right now
Okay.
we are good. We go twice a year down to Milwaukee to do our by whatever. We do
Twice a year we go to the
year
yeah,
or whatever.
Yep.
I obviously can't.
That's good. We know what you meant.
I can great. Anyways, yes, and we just make sure that she does, takes her medicine. She takes lots of medicine every day. We take good care of her. And one day she will get a heart transplant, but
Okay.
hopefully that's in the
Okay.
the way far
Okay.
away future.
But today we're doing great.
yes, we're
You
very
guys,
thankful for CMN.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in. What we'll do is we will continue to work on these phones. How would that be?
Yes, and I really hope people call. 'Cause
They will.
Yes.
They will. They absolutely will. Sometimes you're not right by a phone. Sometimes you're driving and you shouldn't text and call and drive.
That's true. I agree
That's right.
with that.
So I'm sure that that's what's going on. We thank you guys so much. You're listening to the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon, a service of the La Crosse Radio Group.